brothers and sisters, they are there. We are not lost. We are scattered. We are original Hebrew.
I was opportune to meet my grandparents, whom from childhood had always made us to understand that we are one of the lost tribes of Israel. Okay. So, from my grandmother,
ancestors are sitting on this table all the way back to Nigeria. All of them. My ancestors were Igbos from Nigeria, and Igbos are called black Jews, and Igbos are called black Jews.
What's up, BZ Dynasty? This is your boy, the man, the myth, and the legend, Mr. JBZion. Y'all, show me some love, show me some love. Welcome back to Zion Dynasty family. First, I want to say shalom to all my Israelite brothers and sisters. I also want to extend a warm greeting to all my Gentile viewers and supporters. I love you all with the love of the Most High. Welcome back to the channel where your boy is about to hit y'all with another banger. All praises be to the Most High Yah, the mighty one of Jacob, the Holy One of Israel. So y'all, this is gonna be another one, another historical banger, y'all. We going in. We've been dealing with this history, you guys. We've been dealing with the history of the Negro. We've been dealing with a lot of these African tribes, and today we're gonna be dealing with the Lemba. All praises be to the Most High Yah. So a lot of the customs and a lot of the things that the Lemba tribe do, you guys, goes straight back to Israel, right? Not just that, but they also had a research team go out to visit these Lemba people and to observe their customs, their rituals, their feast days, how they live. And they also tested their DNA, which confirmed that they're linked to the Aaronic dynasty, or the priest, right? The sons of Aaron. So we're gonna talk about all that in this video, you guys. And the reason I'm doing this, you guys, because a lot of you guys are loving this breakdown, loving this history. I see it as no greater time to talk about our history going back to these West African tribes and these Bantu tribes than during this month, y'all. As you guys know, this is Black History Month when I'm recording this, when I'm dropping this. But this history, y'all, is 365, right? So y'all replay this video, you share this video, like this video, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff, because we're gonna keep bringing that history. So the reason I'm doing this is because I have to end this whole notion that Hebrew Israelism is some kind of cult, and ethnicity is a cult, and that this stuff began in the late 1800s, 1886 with Frank S. Cherry, 1896 William S. Crowdy. We have to end that, right? And you guys, that's why in the previous videos, the history of the Negro, right? Y'all check those videos out. I talked extensively about the timeline of a lot of the Black liberation ideologies, right? As you guys already know, we're using a lot of this month to link a lot of these Black power groups to show you guys that they all know the same thing. The Nation of Islam is a birth child from the Moorish Science Temple, the Moorish Zion Temple, who, when you look at the foundation of these Black power groups, they started by teaching that we were the biblical children of Israel. All praises. And we can go to the Khemit community. We're going to deal with all that stuff. You guys check out that video about the Moors. Are we Moors? See, all of these different Black power groups, if you trace the origin, go back to us being Israel. But there's a lot of urban apologist junkies, and a lot of them be our people, you guys. It be Israelites that are teaming up thinking they're defending the gospel when they don't know the historical context by which the scriptures were written. They don't know about the early church Israelites. They don't know about the books that were removed from our canon, right? They don't know the history of Israel being Hellenized, dispersed, and that you had to deal with that type of people. That the gospel was aimed to reach those scattered, mixed in, Hellenized Israelites. A lot of Israel don't know that history. So they think that we're just preaching some race message when this has nothing to do with pigmentation or melanation. Everything to do with lineage of a nation, E1B1A, these Yoruba, Igbo tribes, right? So we're gonna talk about the Lemba. First, I'm gonna show you guys a clip by one of these urban apologist junkies, Vocab Malone, trying to say that this stuff started with Frank S. Cherry. Let's watch that, you guys.
Now, is this, how new is this movement? Is this an African-American movement, or was it before America?
Hebrew Israelites have a revised history, so they'll try to go way back and all this kind of thing. The reality of it, though, is that Hebrew Israelism is about 130 years old. Began in America, 1880s, late 1880s at the earliest, and more likely sometime in the 1890s. There's different dates with different guys. There's a little bit of confusion there. But you had two men roughly around the same time in that era who began preaching a message that we are the true people of the book. Black Americans are the Israelites. One was F.S. Cherry. He had a radicalized version that really cast out anyone else from being able to be part of this project, this plan, this awakening. And the other gentleman, William S. Crowdy, and both of them still have followers in churches today, Crowdy to a greater extent than Cherry. Crowdy was more ecumenical and egalitarian.
So as you guys saw in the video, this cat, I mean, I don't know what is his fascination with Israel. He has taken upon himself as the ministry leader to go investigate this supposed cult of these black people. They're saying they're Israelites. So we're gonna deal with the history in today's video, you guys. Now, before we go too deep, I'm gonna do a rehash on Olaudah Equiano's autobiography. You guys get this book. It's on Amazon. I think it was like $5 or $6. You guys get this autobiography because in it, you have the autobiography. The first autobiography of a black person was Olaudah Equiano. I remember us learning about him in school as well. But what they didn't harp on was how he linked the customs of his people, all right? Understand what I'm saying? He linked the practices of the Igbo back to the Jews. All praises to the Most High Yah. And guess what, y'all? He wrote that in the 1780s. So this whole notion that Hebrew Israelites in America just started some cult movement, our people, and I can attest to this, I have so many Nigerian, Igbo, Yoruba brothers that have messaged, sisters, queens, that have messaged and said, oh yeah, we know we're the people, all right? We have anthropological courses over here in Nigeria teaching us this history. A lot of the Igbo can trace it to Gad, Eri, the 8th son of Gad. They can trace their history to the Sephardic exiles. A lot of the Yoruba can do this as well. So this predates African Americans coming into this history, right? So this is not a modern American movement. This is a lineage, a historical reconnection between the diaspora that have been scattered to the Americas and everywhere else, reuniting with their African past, the African tribes that gave them life. Our people are finding that oral tradition. We're able to do extensive DNA testing. We're able to test our DNA on old populations throughout history, my true ancestry. We're able to get our haplotype groups from 23andMe. We're able to compare our DNA that we get these results to different modern populations. And not just that, but we have companies like African Ancestry that can take my DNA just from my spit and connect me to the Yoruba people of Nigeria. This is what is ending a lot of this chaos. This information coming out is shaking the Christian church up, is shaking these urban apologists, and they don't know how to deal with it. Instead of addressing the historical connotation and dealing with the facts of whether or not this is true, they want to get into calling it some movement, SPLC saying it's a hate group, when they're not going to deal with the substance. My question is what we're saying wrong? And as we know, the Jewish Encyclopedia attests to the Igbo and the Yoruba being Israelites, the Yoruba being the B'nai Ephraim. I showed you guys two websites that show you the oral tradition of the Yoruba, saying the B'nai Ephraim. I showed you guys the Ulysses Santa Maria Cambridge source that talks about in southern Nigeria, the Yoruba people going back to the B'nai Ephraim that were banished out of Morocco. Not just that, I'm gonna pull these sources out for y'all. I showed you the Harvard source by the Honorable Dr. Tudor Parfit, who goes also into the Israelite origin of the Yoruba. Not just that, but I'm bringing these facts out today, y'all. Edith Bruder's book. I mentioned this book in a previous video. This is an Oxford book, also Ivy League, like the Harvard source, and like the Cambridge Ulysses source. But I'm gonna go into that page. I'm gonna put that page on the screen, you guys. Page 145, I believe it is, but I'm gonna put it on the screen, where she talks about the Imo Yokwayim, or the B'nai Ephraim of the Yoruba. Not just that. Dr. Windsor, the Bible says where there are 2 or 3 witnesses, let everything be established. I don't know how many witnesses that just is, at least 5. Dr. Windsor, and From Babylon to Timbuktu. If you are a Hebrew that has done your DNA, identified with the prophecies, all this good research, you have to have this book by Dr. Windsor. Most of y'all probably already have it. In this book, we talk about how the migration of the Jews in 70 AD, over 1 million went into Africa. But also in this book, it talks about the Yoruba B'nai Ephraim. I don't know how many times y'all gonna hear Yoruba B'nai Ephraim of the tribe of Joseph. I'm trying to tell y'all, it's too many sources. When you hear me say that, I went to medical school, licensed ordained minister. I need you guys to understand, this ain't no woo-woo. I come from a scientific, methodical background. Before I was gonna claim I was an Israelite, I needed to know. You know what I'm saying? Because it was one thing for us to identify with the curses, but God says, the Most High says, I'm gonna take it a step further. I'm gonna prove to you that I said this thing 3,000 years ago through Moshe Hanavi, that you're gonna go into slavery on ships. And I'm gonna prove it by showing you the scientific evidence that you are linked to the people, thereby the curses that fell upon you was prophesied in advance. Y'all better talk to me today. So now let's get back to the Lemba, you guys. The Lemba also are another West African group. Y'all, I'm gonna touch as many of these tribes as I can. It's so many African, the Ashan, the Yoruba, the Gadangbe, the Igbo, the Beta Israel, the Moroccan Juri, the Bantus. It's a lot, you guys. So in this video, we're gonna deal with the Lemba. Why am I dealing with the Lemba? Because if you do your JED match, and if you choose the MDLP World 22 project, I'm gonna show a screenshot, but I might do a video to show y'all how to do that. But check out some of those other science videos. But if you do that, your closest distance is gonna be Lemba, right? And distance, the lower the distance, the closer you are to the people. So a distance of 10 and less means this is like your grandparent or your parents. Anything from 10 to 20, you are related to these people, like second distant cousins. And 20 to 30 means that you're perhaps related to these people, but it gets less specific. My Yoruba Al-Andalus was 14, you guys. And I know some brothers that got like 3, 4, 5, and 6. We are the people, you guys, is what I'm saying. So if you do your JED match, Lemba is the closest distance sample that you're gonna match with. Why is this important? Because the Lemba are well documented as being descendants from ancient Israelites. I say ancient Israelites. So you guys, I showed you that screenshot, and now we're gonna look at the video ourselves. All praise be to the Most High, about the Lemba being connected to ancient Israelites. All praises.
Far north of South Africa. To the casual observer, they look and live much like any other traditional Southern African community. But if you scratch below the surface, there are some intriguing differences.
Here I am in South Africa, and there are these men wearing skull caps and talit, shoulder wraps. You would see this in any synagogue in America or Israel, but I never thought I'd see it here in South Africa.
I want to find out how these people seem to have Jewish customs. Samuel Moeti is president of the Lemba Cultural Association.
Pleasure.
So, I'll be honest, I came into this village and the first word I heard was shalom,
yes.
The Hebrew word.
Yes.
How's that possible? How is it that the Lemba are speaking Hebrew?
The Lembas are the original Hebrews, and they were scattered, as you know, and they crossed into Africa. So they were scattered all over. So in South Africa, in many parts of South Africa, you find the Lembas who are actually Hebrews.
Hebrews, so the Lembas claim to be descendants of ancient Israelites?
Not claim, they are.
They are?
They are.
Okay.
We are the original African Hebrew. We are scattered all over.
Can you give me a few examples of some of the Jewish?
Yes, we don't partake of pork.
Okay.
We don't mix milk with meat.
It sounds to me like the Lemba have a unique culture surrounded by others who do not practice the same way.
That is correct. We always believe that the Jewish people who live all over the world are our brothers because we come from the same root.
Could it be that the Lemba are a lost tribe of Israel? To answer, perhaps the Lemba's oral history, handed down over the generations, can help us make a connection to the lost tribes of Israel. The Lemba story goes like this. Thousands of years ago, they were forced out of Israel and settled in a place called Sennaar, which is believed to be the present-day Yemen. There, they lived as traders and craftsmen until war or natural disaster pushed them across the Red Sea and into Africa. Then began a slow migration south. Along the way, according to the Lemba, they built great stone cities. It's a claim that's fascinating. Himmler is convinced that Lemba ancestors did indeed come from the Middle East. I'm excited to get back to the Lemba to see what they make of this. And I've got the perfect opportunity. It's the Lemba's annual festival, and I've been invited. It's hard to believe that these people, who to the casual observer look just like the other African communities they live among, actually do have DNA passed down from Middle Eastern forefathers. This proves that when it comes to race, looks really can be deceiving. This annual festival is a chance for the oral history and traditional songs of the Lemba to be passed on to the next generation. This song tells the story of the Lemba's journey all the way from Israel to South Africa. Having traced this journey, I'm eager to hear what Samuel Moeti thinks about the DNA evidence.
So the genetic testing actually proved to the doubters what you and your forefathers have been saying for generations. That must be exciting news.
It is.
I'll be honest, I hadn't heard of the Lemba. I knew very little about the people. But having spent time making the journey from Jerusalem down through Zimbabwe, having spent time here at this festival, seeing what your people are all about, I can only sum it up in one word, and it's shalom.
Shalom.
We've seen how science has backed up the claims of the Lemba in the face of years of doubt and prejudice. The archaeological clues, the DNA evidence, and the Lemba's own oral history add up to a very convincing argument. It reminds me that first impressions can often be misleading. It was hard to believe that a tribe of black Africans could be the descendants of ancient Israelites. But that's exactly what they appear to be.
Brothers and sisters, they are there. We are not lost. We are scattered. We are original Hebrew.
Let's go! All praises be to the Most High God. Yeah, I share. That's your Yoruba for if y'all didn't know. And it's also ancient Israelites. So when you see E-H-Y-E-H, Asher, yeah, that is Iye Asher Iye from the Yoruba people, which is the name of the Most High. I am that I am. All praises be to the mighty one of Yah-Akobi, the Holy One of Yasharal, for this truth, y'all. Everything that Hebrew Israelites are saying, even if they're yelling it on the streets, y'all might feel some type of way, but it's truth. Only people that have had a hand in hiding this history are afraid of this truth coming out. All praises be to the Most High Yoruba. But I, Ephraim of the tribe of Joseph, am I proud of my ancestry? Absolutely. My forefathers was proud of their ancestry. Henry Gratz, the renowned Jewish historian, says that the Sephardic Israelites took great pride in that thing. The Most High, see, we think pride is that's a bad trait. That's a bad thing. The Bible, when it says pride, is talking about presumption. When you have pride to live outside of his word, do your own thing, and that's arrogance. Pride in doing what your father told you to do and being his people and guarding that heritage like he told you to do, that's the pride the Most High said, I want you to have that kind of zeal. All praises be to the Most High. So as you guys see, the Lemba, even the missionary over there, that cat, he had to be like, well, looks can be deceiving, I didn't know. But what I love about it is that the brother went over some of the customs. He said, we don't eat pork. He said, we don't mix milk with meat. Let's show that clip.
Not claim, they are.
They are.
They are.
Okay.
We are the original African Hebrew. We are scattered all over.
Can you give me a few examples of some of the Jewish?
Yes, we don't partake of pork.
Okay.
We don't mix milk with meat.
So as you see, our people guard that heritage. There are West Africans and Bantus that make sacrifice, you guys. There's pre-exilic Yahwehism in the continent of Africa to this day, where they're keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments, where they don't eat pork, right? They don't mix the milk with meat. They keep Shabbat. They make sacrifices. They do 8-day circumcision. Y'all better talk to me. Not just that, but they do 8-day naming ceremonies. All of this is based on the Levitical laws, statutes, and commandments, which is the heritage of Torah that belongs to the children of Israel forever. Right? So let's talk a little bit about the law, and this is how we're gonna wrap this video about. Let's talk about this. Now that we see all these customs that validate these West Africans that keep Torah, we're gonna talk a little bit about this law thing. So a lot of people say, well, you know, the law is legalistic and y'all are putting your culture over spirituality. Understand that culture, spirituality, and religion of a people was all one back in antiquity. Who a people were, who their God was, their heritage, their culture, all of that was one entity. In today's society, when we're so religiously minded, when we're talking about Christianity, we say religion is separate from your culture. But for our people, Israel, the Most High intended it to be one thing. All praises. He intended the way we live to be the very expression of our worship to the Most High Yah. Iyeh Asher Iyeh. It was meant to be taught to our kids over time so they don't have to think about their culture. They don't have to think about, I got to do this to serve God. It was a part of the very life that they lived, right? This is where we as Israel, as Zion, have to get back to. That the law, statutes, and commandments is who I am, right? And this is my worship of the Creator. A lot of Christians have a problem with that. That you're making your culture God. That's what Israel was meant to do. If you identify as a Gentile, that's fine. And I say identify because some Israelite black folks, urban apologists, that identify as Gentiles. That is fine. But Israel was meant to be a light unto all nations. The way we live was meant to be a governmental example. We are the Amazon warehouse by which the Most High gives his package of love, of identity, of treating the human family as one family. Israel is meant to exemplify that to all people by the way we treat one another, by the way we guard Torah. Understand, there's a lot of symptoms that we suffer as black people. Cardiovascular disease, atherosclerosis, and hypertension. And a lot of that is linked to pork. I work in a hospital, you guys. I know these things. So is it a coincidence that the Most High, who gave us a lifestyle that will prevent us from getting these diseases, is it a coincidence that he already commanded that? He made us and he knows our bodies and he knows that you are what you eat, right? And pigs eat anything. Pigs eat rubber. Pigs eat tires. I found out from this white guy I work with, he got a pig infestation because pigs will go around and eat anything so they can populate extremely fast. And this is how America okey-dokes our mind, because every premium burger is a bacon cheeseburger, even though they know that getting pig is cheaper than to get a well-fed cattle or cow, and to have that beef is more expensive. But they make you think psychologically that bacon is the premium thing. This is Babylon, y'all. Just like shrimp and crab legs and all this stuff that they charge the wazoo for, when those are bottom feeders, bottom dwellers. And if you are what you eat, Israel is a well-engined machine. We're not meant to eat bottom dwellers. Y'all better talk to me. So our heritage, our culture, y'all got me preaching in here, is meant to be a light unto all nations, to show them how they should live. By us just worshiping our Creator, by the very life that is the heritage that he gave us. So we give back to the thing that gave us life, which is the very purest form of worshiping Iyeh Asher Iyeh. That's why we got the beards. That's why a lot of our brothers going natural. That's why a lot of them switching to vegan and eating cleaner lifestyle. All of this is what Israel was meant to excel at, y'all. So with that, the Lembas are Israelites. Most of us are closely matched to the Lemba people. If you do your jib match, if you do any of these things. So y'all, that's just another tribe off the checklist. And I'm going to come through there, man. We're going to be dealing with these tribes. And no greater month than Black history, which is really Nigerian, West African, Yoruba, Igbo, Ashanti history. We are the people of the book. And with that, you all, I love you with the love of the Most High. Be blessed, be encouraged. Don't let no family or friends or people discourage you from this truth. We are the people, and there's nothing the nations can do about it. So with that, y'all, peace, love, blessings, and black power to the chosen race of the Most High Yah, Yoruba, B'nai Ephraim of the tribe of Joseph. And with that, you all, we are all the same. One people, one nation, many tribes. I love you guys. Be blessed. Shalom.